Let's have a quick conversation about how to get the perfect merchant account. So here's an overview I want you to pay attention to. Before I talk to you about the steps, I want to talk about the fact that it's important to have budgetary planning. You got to save money by planning ahead, okay? Let's really talk about that. So the whole thing is that opening a merchant account for your business is actually easier today than it's ever been. With processors advertising instant approval and no contract required, you might think that a few Google searches and a rate quote are all you need to get started. But despite a few improvements to the credit card processing industry over the last few years, many of the same old hazards persist. So this is really important. I want to actually initiate a warning here. Merchants are still getting tricked into signing up for unwanted accounts. They're still getting trapped in undisclosed 4-year leases or 5-year leases, and they're still having tens of thousands of their own dollars withheld without any advance warning, okay? In other words, the industry is still out to get you. This is really important. I'm not even talking about the ETF, the early termination fees, okay? Now, the thing is that you do not want to be scammed. If you are a merchant, you want to stay away from any scams. The answer is simple. If you're trying to prevent those scams, you have to do research. Research, compare, and communicate. Let me repeat that. You want to research, compare, and communicate. I'm talking to you. My team and I, we have spent nearly 20 years of researching this whole industry. So we're speaking about researching, comparing, and communicate. So more specifically, there are 6 clear steps that I will share with you in today's conversation that will help you actually find a merchant account provider that offers fair, transparent pricing, protects you from liability, is there when you need their services, and really wants to help your business grow. Okay, it's important to understand that if you basically do not follow the steps I'll be sharing with you, you stand to lose a lot of cash, especially the early termination fees. And the early termination fees can run somewhere from $300 all the way to $1,500. Okay, and the thing is that if you have attached a checking account to your merchant account, the credit card processor will debit your account without notifying you. So it's one of those things where you want to do research to prevent any kind of ETF and other ancillary fees. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here. Make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. The first step, so let me give you the steps here. So the first step you need to really do if you want to get the perfect merchant account is to educate yourself about rates and fees. And it's one of those things where you probably think, oh, well, I don't have to. You have to. If you are a prospective merchant, if you're a business owner and you are going to process thousands upon thousands of credit card transactions, you better really understand what rates means and what fees means, okay? And it's one of those things where you want to really understand your merchant statement to really have a clear idea. And what we have seen in our research is that a large number of unethical processors have either rebranded or completely gone out of business in the last few years. And so if you want to be in this industry, you want to be an informed shopper. And a mistake can cost you thousands of dollars. So you want to research your current provider's reputation, research any prospective provider's reputations, be prepared to negotiate, and understand the difference between a fair price and a garbage fee. And I can tell you there are a lot of garbage fees in this industry. I mean, we love the industry. We have researched this industry for 20 years, but there are a lot of garbage fees. There's a lot of garbage, so to speak. So do not simply take an agent's words on anything, because see, those agents are independent contractors. Most of the time, they're not working for the processor with which you are going to assign a contract. They are independent contractors. They're paid on a commission basis. So their thing is they just want to sell you something. And they want to close the deal as soon as possible. So you are the one who are going to be, lose a lot if something goes wrong, okay? And so do not simply take an agent's word on anything. You can spend hours trying to find an independent source for information about merchant account rates and fees, or you can just ask us in the comment section below, and we'll certainly get back to you. If you are a business owner and you are considering a merchant account right now, please let us know in the comment section, and our team will get back to you. Or you can just email us, and our email is in the account. It's in the channel about section, And our email is there. Just email us and we'll certainly get back to you. Not a problem. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to get the perfect merchant account. So step number one, you want to educate yourself about rates and fees, right? Step number two, you want to identify the products and services your business needs. See, the whole thing is every business is different, and don't actually think that all those processors, credit card processors, they have standard needs or standard offers. No, they can customize their offers based on your needs. So you got to have a clear idea, identify the products and services your business needs. I mean, pricing isn't everything. Ask yourself what you need from your payment processor. Do you require an EMV terminal, mobile phone processing, online payments? Do you run a large retail location, or are you a one-person operation? Okay, so answering those questions will really help you. Those might seem like basic questions, but they're quite essential. How often do you need to accept credit cards? And also ask yourself, is your business only open for a few months out of the year? The thing is that it's all about seasonality. It's all about, I mean, some businesses actually are open maybe 3, 4, 5 months during the holidays, and other businesses are open all year long. So seasonality plays an important role. So some merchant services companies specialize in enterprise level B2B payments, while others offer robust point of sale hardware setups for restaurants, for instance, and retail in general. And if your business is in a high risk sector, you may not even be able to open a merchant account through a conventional provider. Okay, so it's one of those things where you have to be clear as to what your business needs. So be sure to do some research and compile a list of providers that specialize in your business needs before you turn your attention to contractual considerations. And if you sign an agreement under the expectation that a provider will operate outside of its areas of expertise, then it's only a matter of time before that provider lets you down, unless you have the whole thing in writing. Okay, that's why we tell our clients and our viewers to always have all contracts, all agreements, all sort of promises in writing. That way, you're just covering your ass. Should something happen, at least you know that, okay, I have this in writing and I can go to court. Not a problem. If you have to get engaged in litigation, at least you know that you're covered. Okay, so remember, number one, educate yourself about rates and fees. Number two, identify the products and services your business needs. Number three, you want to understand your security responsibilities. So when we talk about credit card processing, security is of quintessential nature here, okay? No matter how you accept credit cards, there will always be some security risks associated with taking digital payments. And so the industry, as a matter of fact, is continually evolving to combat fraud, and fraudsters are continually exploiting new vulnerabilities wherever they can. So that said, the vast amount of responsibility for fraud prevention should not fall on your business, as long as you understand how PCI compliance works. So if you are going to do a credit card processing, you got to understand PCI compliance. As a matter of fact, there are some fees associated with that compliance. So PCI stands for Payment Card Industry. So the Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, the PCI DSS, is actually a series of regularly updated security protocols established by the credit card processing industry to ensure that all providers and merchants meet a rigorous standard for data security. And what happens here is that most of the requirements, such as data encryption, for instance, they are actually beyond the average merchant's level of technical expertise. So others, such as not storing sensitive customer data at your business location, are your responsibility. So it's one of those things where we're talking here about regulatory compliance, but also operational efficiency here. So your PCI compliance obligations will vary depending on the specifics of your business and the types of service your provider is offering. And you will need to actually communicate clearly with your provider about how you're accepting credit cards, and ask them what precautions are built into their products to protect your customers' data. And some providers force merchants to obtain annual or quarterly PCI scans to verify compliance, while others just require the completion of an annual PCI self-assessment questionnaire. And most providers charge a fee for each month that a merchant fails to meet industry standards for PCI compliance. And this is really important. And now, this may seem like a headache, and it is, but do not blow off your PCI compliance obligations because not doing so, but because failing to comply with PCI standards, you both increase the risk of a security breach at your business and put yourself on the hook for any fraud losses that occur as a result of your negligence. Even if you successfully follow PCI standards and a breach occurs, your provider or bank may try to hold you accountable for the losses. However, your case will be much stronger if you can prove that the breach occurred on their end. By the way, boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about steps you need to take to get the perfect merchant account. The next thing you want to do is to choose a highly rated provider that fits your business. So see, if you remember earlier, I was just talking to you about making sure that you understand the products and services that your business needs. And once you have a clear idea about your needs, then you want to choose a provider that really fits those needs. The thing is that once you really understand what's really important for you, you choose a provider that actually fits you. Now, but just don't sign up with the first payment processor you like. The most surefire way to guarantee yourself low rates is to get 3 to 5 processors vying for your company's business. And credit card processing is as competitive as ever, and agents often have plenty of leeway to lower their cost if it means letting your account for the long haul. And if agents know that they are working against other agents, they may also move more quickly to bring you on broad, like they can bring you on board under conditions that are favorable to you. One thing I want to say here is that just make sure, please, that you get everything in writing. Anything else that an agent tells you, you got to get in writing. It's not about, that he or she's my friend or whatever. I've known this person for years, whatever. I think, as I said earlier, basically all agents are, not all, but most of them, they are usually independent contractors. So they do not work for they don't work for the credit card processor. So they are just trying to close a deal. It's one of those things where if something were to happen, you are on the hook, okay? And we're speaking about having very hefty, you have to pay hefty ETF fees. You do not want to do that. So it's one of those things you have to be very careful here. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comment section. Our team will get back to you. We have researched this industry for more than 20 years. We understand what's really happening with credit card processing, and we'll let you know based on the merchant account provider you are considering, whether it's a good deal or not a good deal. The next thing you want to do here is you want to really seek transparency. So we're talking about providing full disclosure during sign up. And it's really important to understand that, again, you are committing yourself and your business for many, many, many years. So it's important to do research. It's important to seek transparency at all stages of the account sign up process. Okay. So the merchant account sign up process can sometimes feel tedious and invasive. Just as you researched your provider has to look into your business to make sure you are a good fit for them. So that's called due diligence. And we're talking about looking at they will look at your operations, they'll look at your financials. So we're speaking about your 4 financial statements, your balance sheets, your income statements, your cash flow statements, and your statement of owner's equity. Okay, so they may ask for a profit or loss statement, for example. They may ask for by the way, profit and loss statement, that's the same thing as income statement. They may ask for bank statements or even photographs of your location. You may hear that your application is tied up in underwriting for a few days. It is tempting to push back on those requests or misrepresent your business in order to speed up the process, but try to be as patient and as honest as possible. This is really important. You will thank me later on, because if something were to happen and you get in trouble or your business gets in trouble, if you lied during the underwriting process, during the underwriting phase, you are in big trouble. Okay. If a merchant account provider asks you to supply information about your business, it's because they absolutely need it. Remember, they also want you processing through them as soon as possible. So the consequences of misrepresenting your business type, processing history, or expected sales can be dire. When a provider brings your business on board, they take on a certain amount of legal risks. Some providers have even been prosecuted by the federal government for facilitating legally questionable payments. As a result, providers are incredibly cautious when it comes to irregularities in your processing activity. If you or they detect that you have started selling undisclosed products or ripping off your customers, they won't hesitate to freeze your account, hold back a cash reserve, or even terminate your account. Okay, and in some cases, your provider could place you on the TMF match list, an industry-wide blacklist that precludes you from opening an account through most other processors. When it comes to your merchant accounts, honesty from the start is truly the best policy. The next thing you want to do here is to actually, in the same spirit of transparency, you want to communicate about changes to your business, okay? And again, it's all about making sure that you are giving enough info to your processor so that they can make an informed decision. So the road to the perfect merchant account doesn't stop once you have signed up, right? If you don't communicate certain information to your provider from time to time, your relationship with them can actually can be tarnished in a hurry. Specifically, you want to let your provider know in advance if you expect an abnormally large sale, a sharp increase in sales volume, inventory addition that are outside of your normal specialty, new markets for your services outside of your home country, or a change in ownership at your business. Essentially, you want to give them a heads up before any abnormal processing behavior or major changes to the structure of your business. As long as your provider knows what's coming, it can really find a way to keep your money flowing smoothly. It's all about transparency, and it's all about what we call in our research here, we call it proactive transparency. You know, think about your provider as a bank, okay? And you want to really be proactively transparent in terms of KYC. For instance, in banking there is something called KYC, so know your customer, and that KYC sort of applies also to the credit card processing industry, because everything is linked. Everything revolves around the AML regulations that we have, the anti-money laundering regulations. And it's one of those things where, in the spirit of transparency, you want to really make sure that you provide all the elements that the credit card processor needs in terms of their AML obligations. And one thing I want to say here is that it's not about you actually divulging anything important about your business. It's about making sure that your cash flows is constant, right? Otherwise, you do not want your payment processor to hold your cash, especially if you are expecting a large amount of cash. It's really important to be proactive here. So long story short, you want to be proactively transparent. It's all about proactive transparency. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, let me do a quick recap here. Today's conversation, I was explaining to you how to get the perfect merchant account. And basically, I'll give you the overview and then the steps. So the steps are pretty simple. So you want to educate yourself about rates and fees. You want to identify the products and services your business needs. You want to understand your security responsibilities. You want to choose a highly rated provider that fits your business. You want to provide full disclosure during sign up, and you want to provide full disclosure after sign up. So if there are changes to your business, you want to notify your provider in advance. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.